Chapter 23 The Eighth Dwarf. A horrible storm moved through the dwarf forest. Rain poured down in massive amounts. Trees bent in violent wind. A thunder roared across the land, as if Mother Nature was mourning. The 7 dwarves were nested warmly on their cottage. They played a game of cards and enjoyed some hot cocoa at their table while they waited out the storm. It was almost midnight when an unexpected knock came from their door. The dwarves were very curious as to who would be visiting them so late in the night during such a harsh storm. In fact, the last person to knock on their door had been Queen Snow White herself when she was just a young princess trying to hide from the evil queen. The oldest dwarf stood from the table and opened the door. He was taken aback by who their guest turned out to be. Standing on the doorstep, soaked to the bone in a dark cloak, was the 7 dwarfs' youngest brother. "Hello," Rumpelstiltskin said. "Well, I'll be an elf's mistress," the oldest dwarf said. It had been 127 years since the dwarfs had seen their youngest brother. "Rumpelstiltskin, is that you?" said the shortest dwarf, and he stood from the table. "It's me, brother," Rumpelstiltskin said. "May I come in?" The oldest hesitated at first, but because the weather was so horrid, he decided it would be cruel of him not to let his brother in. Rumpelstiltskin took a step inside his old home, and the oldest shut the door behind him. "It's a beast out there," he said with a shiver. All 7 of his brothers scowled at him, not welcoming his return home. "Playing with the old deck, I see. I always loved it when we played cards through a storm." His brothers stared at the floor or at their hand of cards, although none of them were playing anymore. "I saw the smoke from the chimney," Rumpelstiltskin said. "It guided me through the storm." "Thank goodness it did, otherwise I would still be out there trotting through the rain." "Why are you here?" the largest dwarf asked him. Rumpelstiltskin looked at his hand while he formed the words. "I snuck away. The Enchantress was out. I'm sure you heard, but she has taken over the world," he said. The oldest dwarf hooted under his breath in disgust and had a seat at the table. Rumpelstiltskin knew it was aimed at him. "She isn't very clear about her plans for the dwarf forest and has no ruler to conquer, but I think she's planning on obliterating them completely," he said. "I'm very close to her, as close to anyone could be, and was hoping with her permission I would ask her to spare you when she takes over." "And why would you do that?" asked the thinnest dwarf. Rumpelstiltskin was hurt. He had to be asked. "Because we're family," he asked. The oldest angrily threw his card at the table. "We were family," he said. "You abandoned this family a long time ago when you decided we weren't good enough for you. And what did you leave us for? To kidnap children for evil fairies? To spend a lifetime in prison? How dare you call yourself a dwarf, or say the word family under this roof? Mother and father would be ashamed of you if they were still alive." Rumpelstiltskin lowered his head. "I was so unhappy," he said. "I didn't know what I wanted. I just knew it wasn't the life of a miner." "So have you found it, then?" the shortest dwarf asked. "Is running around doing the evil Enchantress grunt work been anything you were hoping for?" Rumpelstiltskin closed his eyes. He was open to conversation when it go to this. "I'm sorry for the embarrassment I brought to this family," he said, "and believe me, not a day goes by that I don't wish to erase the past. I would love nothing more than to get rid of my affiliation with her, but I'm afraid I can't, all because of one mistake I made years ago." The oldest dwarf shuffled the cards. "Well, it was your mistake and not ours," he said. "We'll have nothing to do with it. You can tell the Enchantress that we would rather die than live in a world ruled by her." Rumpelstiltskin looked to the other brothers, but the answer seemed to be unanimous. "I see," he said. "Well, at least I tried." He added to the door and pulled it over. The strong winds from outside instantly filled the cottage. Rumpelstiltskin turned back to his brothers before he left. He had one final thing to say. I'm sorry I could never be the brother you wanted, Rumpelstiltskin said. But one day I'll make things right between us. One day I'll be your brother you can be proud of. Rumpelstiltskin stepped into the storm and shut the cottage door behind him, knowing it could be the very last thing he ever said to them. Alright, that is the end of chapter 23. I hope you enjoyed the read. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to hear more from the Land of Stories, The Enchantress Returns, and also more books in the future. And with that, if you have really good suggestions for me to read, make sure you put a comment there below in the video. And overall, I hope you enjoyed the reading and give it a thumbs up if you like, and hope you had a beautiful and wonderful day. Bye!